Welcome to our debate section. Your goal is to listen carefully, think critically, and share your opinion.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Mind Matters. Today we're diving deep into something incredibly personal, yet universally impactful. The values and ideals we inherit, cultivate, and hopefully pass on. Elizabeth, when you think back, what's one core value your parents or grandparents really instilled in you?
Oh, that's a great starting point, John. For me, it has to be resilience, hands down. My grandmother, she lived through so much, a war, economic hardship, and she always had this unwavering spirit. Her motto was bend, don't break. It wasn't about being stubborn, it was about adapting, finding a way through. It's something I carry with me every single day.
Resilience, I love that. My parents, particularly my father, really hammered home the idea of integrity. Your word is your bond, he'd always say. He believed that no matter what, your reputation, your character, that's the only thing you truly own. And it's something I've tried to live by, especially in my professional life.
Integrity is huge. I think about that a lot, especially now, with so much information flying around, so many curated personas online. Authenticity and integrity feel more important than ever. Speaking of passing things on, if or when you have children, what qualities would you most want them to learn from you?
That's a question I think about often. Beyond integrity, I'd want them to learn empathy. To really be able to put themselves in someone else's shoes, understand different perspectives, and act with kindness. The world can be tough, and I think a strong sense of empathy is what allows us to connect, to build community, and to solve problems together. And also, a love for learning, a genuine curiosity about the world.
Empathy and curiosity, those are wonderful. I'd add critical thinking to that list. Not just accepting things at face value, but asking questions, seeking deeper understanding. And maybe a sense of adventure too, to not be afraid to step outside their comfort zone, to explore, to fail and learn from it. My parents always encouraged me to try new things, even if I wasn't good at them right away, and I want to give that same freedom to my kids.
That's so true, that courage to try. It makes me wonder though, as society has gotten richer, as we have more access to material goods and technology, do you think our most important values and ideals have remained the same, or has that wealth changed what we prioritize?
That's a fascinating thought. On one hand, I think core human values like love, connection, security, purpose, those are probably timeless. They transcend any economic system. But on the other hand, the expression of those values and what we focus on definitely changes. Perhaps in times of abundance, there's a risk of losing appreciation for things like hard work or resourcefulness, which were vital when things were scarcer. We might start prioritizing convenience or instant gratification over delayed rewards or perseverance.
I agree, the foundational values might endure, but the application and emphasis shift. Like my grandparents valued frugality out of necessity. For me, it's more of a conscious choice for sustainability or financial prudence rather than a matter of survival. It's a different lens. Would you say your values are significantly different from your parents or grandparents then?
Absolutely, in some ways. While I hold on to their resilience and integrity, my generation, we've grown up in a more globalized, interconnected world, so values like diversity, inclusion, environmental responsibility, these are much higher on my personal priority list than they might have been for my grandparents, whose focus was more on family, community, and national stability in a post-war era. Not that they didn't care, but the urgency and awareness were different.
That's a really good point. For me, the biggest shift is probably around gender roles and expectations. My parents definitely came from a more traditional background, and while they always supported my aspirations, there were unspoken assumptions about how families should operate. My values lean much more towards egalitarianism, shared responsibilities, and truly valuing a partner's career as much as my own. It's a natural evolution, I think, as society progresses.
It is, isn't it? It leads to the broader question, would you agree that values and ideals fundamentally change with each generation? It seems almost inevitable, like a cultural tide.
I think so. Each generation inherits the world left by the previous one, along with its challenges and innovations. Our grandparents navigated industrialization and world wars. Our parents dealt with the Cold War, civil rights movements, and the rise of technology. We're grappling with climate change, digital transformation, and shifting global power dynamics. Each of these macro forces naturally shapes what a generation comes to value most for survival, prosperity, and well-being. It's not necessarily better or worse, just different.
Exactly, like my grandparents probably never had to think about digital privacy or misinformation in the way we do. Our values around information literacy or even online etiquette are entirely new constructs that didn't exist for them. It's like we're constantly updating our operating system of ethics and morals to keep pace with the world.
That's a great analogy. It also makes me wonder, if you had been born in a completely different country or even a different century, do you think your personal values and ideals would have been profoundly different?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. So much of who we are, our worldview, is shaped by our environment, our culture, the prevailing beliefs of our time. If I were born in a tribal community centuries ago, my values might revolve around communal survival, respect for elders, and intimate connection to nature in a way I can only theorize about now. Or in a highly collectivistic society today, my emphasis on individual achievement might be tempered by a stronger focus on group harmony. It's humbling to think how much of me is circumstantial.
Yeah, it really makes you consider the malleability of identity. I think about someone born into an ancient warrior society. Their values would be courage, loyalty to the tribe, physical prowess. My values of intellectual pursuit or global citizenship would be completely irrelevant, or even detrimental in that context. It's a powerful reminder that values aren't just abstract concepts, they're deeply practical responses to our environment. Which then brings up the challenge for parents today. How can they effectively bring up children morally in our current complex society?
It's a huge challenge, isn't it? I think it starts with modeling. Kids are always watching. If you want them to be kind, be kind. If you want them to be honest, be honest. And then it's about open communication. Not just telling them what to do, but explaining the why behind values, having conversations about ethical dilemmas, listening to their perspectives even when they're different from your own, and critically teaching them media literacy so they can discern truth from noise.
Modeling is key. And giving them a safe space to make mistakes and learn from them too. It's not about perfection, but about continuous growth. My parents were great at that. I remember one time I broke something and tried to hide it, and my dad found out. He didn't yell, he just said, "John, a mistake is a lesson, but lying about it turns it into a bad choice. Always tell the truth and we can fix anything." That stuck with me. What's the most memorable thing your parents ever told you?
Oh, that's powerful. For me, it wasn't a single phrase, but more of a repeated sentiment from my mother. Always be curious, always be kind, and always stand up for what's right, even if you're the only one. That last part especially really shaped me. It taught me the importance of conviction and courage in my beliefs. My teachers also emphasized critical thinking and the value of education as a means to empower yourself and others.
That's fantastic advice. I think that blend of personal conviction and kindness is what makes a well-rounded individual. On that note, is there someone, perhaps a public figure or even someone you know personally, whom you most admire for their personal values and ideals? Why them?
That's a tough one because there are so many, but if I had to pick one, it would be Malala Yousafzai. Her unwavering commitment to education for all, especially girls, in the face of incredible adversity and personal danger, is just astounding. Her courage, her grace, her articulate advocacy, it embodies so many values I admire. Resilience, justice, peace, and the power of the individual voice. She truly walks the talk.
Malala is an incredible example, absolutely. Her story is just awe-inspiring. It makes you think about different generations. Do you ever agree with the sentiment that young people's ideals are unrealistic these days? You hear that sometimes, right?
I hear it a lot, actually, and my short answer is no, I don't agree. I think young people today are inheriting a very complex, often messy world. Their ideals, whether it's radical climate action, social justice, or challenging established norms, might seem unrealistic to older generations, because they're pushing for rapid, transformative change in systems that have been in place for a long time. But that doesn't make them unrealistic, it makes them passionate and driven by a different set of priorities, often born out of urgency and a deeper understanding of interconnectedness. They see the problems clearly and aren't afraid to demand radical solutions.
I couldn't agree more, Elizabeth. I think what might seem unrealistic to us is simply a lack of imagination on our part, or perhaps a fear of disrupting the status quo we've grown comfortable with. Young people often have less to lose and more to gain from significant change, so their ideals naturally push boundaries. It's often through these unrealistic ideals that genuine progress is made. Look at movements throughout history led by young people. They redefine what's possible.
Exactly. They're not constrained by the same "this is how things have always been" mentality, and honestly, I find it inspiring. It gives me hope for the future. Speaking of change, do you think it's possible that your own personal values and ideals might change significantly in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I fully expect them to. I think if your values don't evolve, you're probably not really living or learning. Life experiences, significant relationships, new knowledge, even challenging personal failures, all of these things reshape us. I imagine becoming a parent, for example, would profoundly shift my priorities and values, or facing a major life crisis. I think it's healthy to continuously examine and refine our moral compass as we navigate different stages of life. It's part of growth.
That's a really thoughtful answer, John. I feel the same way. I mean, my values have already shifted dramatically since I was a teenager, even since my 20s. What I prioritized then feels very different to what resonates with me now. And I hope they continue to evolve. It means I'm still learning, still growing, still open to new perspectives. It's a journey, not a fixed destination.
A beautiful way to put it, Elizabeth. It is a journey. And it's been such a rich conversation exploring this journey with you today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and personal reflections.
Thank you, John. It's been incredibly thought-provoking, and I really enjoyed delving into these important questions. To all our listeners, we hope this conversation sparks your own reflections on the values that shape you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep those ideals alive.
Thank you for listening to Listen Up English. By subscribing and sharing our content, you support the channel and help more learners develop their English listening comprehension.
Throw the ball, play together.